What's up, guys? It's Austin with Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory. Today I'm going to show you guys my Superheavy Samurai deck. I took this deck to locals, went 3 and 5. I lost against Cosmos and then some weird dragon deck, and then I made it to finals and I lost my first round against Blue Eyes. So I did pretty good. This deck is it's pretty budget. You could probably spend $60 and have a pretty good Superheavy Samurai deck. Most of these cards don't exceed $10. Actually, all of them don't. The highest card I can think of is 5. So you can build this deck for pretty cheap and do pretty well at a locals. I wouldn't say this deck is super competitive, but it's pretty competitive. It can hold its own against most decks. A lot of people aren't expecting it, mostly. But anyway, let's get right into the deck profile. Okay, guys, so for the main deck, what we're going to start out with is Superheavy Samurai Big Binky. He's pretty good, 3,500 defense, which is really, really high. So what he does is whenever you normal or special summon him, you can switch him to defense, and all Superheavy Samurai monsters attack using their defense. This sounds really strange to most people hearing it for the first time, but it uses its defense as, what's their term that they use? For damage calculation. That's what they use in the cards, like, I guess, explanation of the effect, damage calculation. Uses defense for damage calculation. It's pretty good. It's probably the card that I use the most in this deck. If not this, it's probably one of the synchros. Not synchros, tuners. But yeah, it's pretty good. So on to the next card. I'm just going to stack this up there. Don't have to focus on too many cards at once. This is Superheavy Samurai Jade. If I can get my finger on it. He's also a level 8. I almost never use him for his pendulum effect. I think it lowers the levels of Superheavy Samurai monsters by 1. So it also attacks with his defense. So it's pretty good. You can also tribute summon it with only 1 tribute material. So that's pretty good. Well, not necessarily material, but with only 1 tribute monster. Not, oh my god. You get what I'm saying. Anyway, run 3 of those. You run 3 Superheavy Samurai Flutist. You can tribute him to special summon 1 Superheavy Samurai monster out of your hand, and then you can banish him from your graveyard to negate the effect that targets a Superheavy Samurai monster. If I can get to focus. So that's pretty good. Superheavy Samurai Big Waraja. Waraja. What he does is you can special summon him, and he is treated as 2 tributes for a Superheavy Samurai monster. Run 3 of him. And then you run 3. I'm just going to lay it up there and then bring the other one down. Superheavy Samurai Drum. And he's just a regular level 1 tuner. That's how I get out Beast Kaiba most of the time, is with him. So what he does is when he gets sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Superheavy Samurai monster from your graveyard. So, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. Card I use a lot is Superheavy Samurai Blue Barrel. You run 3 of him as well. And what he does is, whenever he's normal or special summoned, you can automatically switch him to defense, and he can't not be destroyed by battle. And he has 2,000 defense. That's pretty good. There's not very many level 4 monsters that can get over that, and then, well, they're not gonna get over it because he can't be destroyed by battle. So he's a good staller. That's what I would say he is. And then for our next card is Superheavy Samurai Trumpeter. He is probably, if not maybe, he might be the best card in this deck. Whenever you can special summon him from your hand if you don't have any spell or trap cards in your deck, which, by the way, this deck has no spell or trap cards, and if you do have spell or trap cards, you're probably not going to be able to use most of the effects. But you can special summon him from your hand if you don't have any spell or trap cards in your graveyard, and if he is tributed for a Superheavy Samurai monster, you can special summon him from your graveyard. If you use him as a tribute for Jade or Big Binky, that is almost an automatic Warlord, unless they solemn strike you or something. That would really suck. And then for our next card, you run. I just gotta stack them over there now. You run 3 Super Heavy Samurai Battle Ball. What he does is the same thing. Well, not necessarily the same thing, but if you don't have any spell or trap cards in your graveyard, you can, whenever he's summoned, if your opponent has a monster that is a level, we can do it once per turn, that has a level, you can use it as a synchro summon with this card to synchro summon a monster from your extra deck. It's pretty good. I don't usually use that effect that often. Now to the cards that you would only run 2 of. Super Heavy Samurai Thief. He's pretty good. You special summon him from your hand, and then you tribute him to either take one of your opponent's pendulums or one of your opponent's spell or trap cards. So that's pretty good. And then for our next card is Super Heavy Samurai Magnet. Whenever you normal summon him, you special summon 1 level 4 or lower from your hand, which I usually go for Blue Barrel, and then you switch him to defense. And he's the only monster that can be attacked. So he's pretty good. I usually use him to go into Warlord if I only draw Blue Barrel and him, and then like a Trumpeter or something like that. It's a pretty good play. Then wait, I'm gonna go for this one card first. Then you run 2 Super Heavy Samurai General Coral. I mostly use him for his pendulum effect. You can pick 1 Super Heavy Samurai monster and they can attack twice. So that's pretty good if you're pushing for the win. Next we run 2 Super Heavy Samurai Transporter. What he does is you can just special summon him from your hand, and that's really the effect that I use. I never use the second one. What it is you can special summon monsters, your Super Heavy Samurai monsters from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in defense, and you draw the number of cards that you special summon, up to 2. So his second effect is so-so, but I don't really want it on their side of the field unless I have a battle ball in my hand. That's the only reason. That's the only thing I can think of is the reason I'd have it. And for our next card is Super Heavy Samurai Soul Beads. It protects your monster from getting destroyed by card effects twice. So that's pretty good. And now to the cards that we would only run 1 of. Super Heavy Samurai Scales. He's alright. If your opponent controls 2 or more monsters and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard, except Super Heavy Samurai Scales, special summon it in defense position. You can only activate the effect of Super Heavy Samurai Scales once per turn. I literally just had to read that effect off the card because I barely ever use him. He's pretty good, but I'm never really in that situation very often. And there's some sticky stuff on my desk, and I just got out of the back of one of my cards. Next card is Super Heavy Samurai Giggle Glove. He's alright. You can excavate the top 5 cards off your deck, and then you can put them back in any order. That's the only effect I use. I think he has a graveyard effect where he negates direct attacks. Or maybe it's just attacks in general. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's go with him first. Next, for the singular cards, is Super Heavy Samurai Soul Claw. He just protects your monsters from getting destroyed by battle. I'm going to put that up there about Trumpeter. Next is Super Heavy Samurai Soul Horns. He makes it where the monster that he's equipped to can attack twice. So that's pretty good. That's why I only have 1 of them, because I already have the pendulum effect that does that. And then Super Heavy Samurai Soul Burst Gauntlet. It's pretty good, but I don't think it's good enough for me to run 2 of them. What you do is at the beginning of during your turn, you can discard this and then pick a Super Heavy Samurai monster's defense gets doubled. That's pretty good if you're pushing for OTK, which I am sometimes, and that's why I only have 1. I'm not doing that for the entire duel, so I don't need this in my hand first turn. Because it usually takes 2, maybe 3 turns to push for OTK with this deck. And then we have Super Heavy Samurai Shield, Soul Shield Wall. This just protects your monsters getting destroyed by battle. So it's pretty good. Basically, I already have Soul Claw for that. Well, that's it for the main deck. All monsters. Now for the extra deck. Okay, first of all, we have Super Heavy Samurai Warlord. He's really good. What he does is once per turn during either player's turn, you can steal one of your opponent's Trapper Spell cards out of their graveyard and set it on your side of the field. And whenever you use it or it gets destroyed or whatever, you banish it. And he also attacks and defense like the other boss monsters of the deck, so that's pretty good. He has 3,800 defense. That's pretty hard to get around. Same thing with Beast Kaiba. He also attacks with defense, but he also has a pretty unique effect. He gains 900 defense for every special summon monster that your opponent controls, which that's pretty good in this new format against Pendulums and Cosmos and Blue Eyes and whatnot. Just about everything special summons. So, only thing I can think of that doesn't special summon is Monarchs. And not very many people are using Monarchs anymore since Pantheism and Ether and all that good stuff got limited. Thank God. For our next monster is Ogre. He is really good. Whenever you synchro summon, you just destroy all your opponent's traps and spells. It's basically just like a Harpy's Feather Duster. Really good card. If you don't have 3 of these, you are dumb. Well, unless you can't afford it, because this card's about $6. 5, 6, somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, you could probably maybe find one for cheaper. You could probably find it cheaper if you're buying all 3 of them. He might sell it to you for 10 or 15, something like that. So, is my extra deck pretty standard right there. Thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more in the future, more deck profiles, I can do Dynamis, Kaijus, Amorphages, Psyframes. If you request a deck I don't have, there's a good chance one of my friends might have it, so I can see if I can get it, and if I can't, I'm sorry. I also will put up a video of different strategies with Super Heavies if you want me to, like different combos and stuff you can pull off. But anyway, this has been Austin with Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Really appreciate any support you give me. Thanks.